Okay, so you probably learned the Philippine alphabet back in grade school. 28 letters, right? You've got your A, B, K, you've got Nye and NG, and everyone's proud of it. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The Filipino alphabet is hiding something. There are letters that used to exist, letters that were erased, and letters that technically exist today but almost nobody talks about. So buckle up, because we're going on a deep dive into the letters the Philippine alphabet doesn't want you to know about. Before we get to the secrets, let's get some context. The Philippines hasn't always had one single alphabet. Long before the Spanish arrived in the 16th century, Filipinos were already writing, using a script called Baybayin. It was a syllabic writing system, meaning each character represented a syllable, not just a single sound. It was beautiful, efficient, and completely different from anything the colonizers brought with them. When Spain colonized the Philippines, Baybayin slowly faded. The Spanish introduced the Latin alphabet, the same one used for Spanish with some adjustments. For over 300 years, Filipinos wrote in a system shaped by Spanish needs for Spanish sounds. Then the Americans came, and they brought English. Suddenly, the alphabet shifted again. After independence, Filipino linguists and the government worked to create something that actually fit the Filipino language, not Spanish, not English, but Filipino. The result was a series of official alphabets that kept changing over the decades. In 1976, we had the Filipino alphabet with 20 letters. Then, in 1987, the modern Filipino alphabet was adopted, 28 letters total. That's the one you know today. But here's where it gets interesting. Every time the alphabet changed, something was added or something was lost. Let's talk about the 1976 Filipino alphabet. It had 20 letters, and it deliberately removed several letters that were borrowed from Spanish because they represented sounds that didn't naturally exist in Filipino. Gone were C, F, J, Q, V, X, Z, and also RR and LL, which were used in Spanish words. Why? Because Filipino doesn't natively produce those sounds. The letter C, for instance, makes either a K sound or an S sound, both of which are already covered by K and S. Same with Q, which always sounds like K. Why have two letters for the same sound? Makes sense, right? Clean it up. Keep it Filipino. But then 1987 happened, and the new Filipino alphabet added those letters back, all of them. C, F, J, Q, V, X, Z. Welcome back, everyone. Why? Because the Philippines had absorbed so many foreign words, especially from English, that it needed those letters to spell them properly. So the secret here isn't that these letters are hidden, it's that they're foreign guests in our alphabet. They exist only for borrowed words. If you're writing a purely Filipino word, you'll almost never use F, J, V, X, or Z. They're in the alphabet, but they don't really belong to the language's original sound system. Now let's talk about the two letters that make the Filipino alphabet genuinely unique. First, Nye. This little letter with the tilde on top came directly from Spanish. It represents the NY sound, like in the word niño, or the Filipino word mañanita. In Filipino, you see it in words like noño, or borrowed Spanish names. It's one of the few letters in any Southeast Asian Latin-based alphabet that carries a diacritical mark as part of the official alphabet. That's actually pretty rare globally. Second, and this is the big one, NG. NG is not two letters. In the Filipino alphabet, NG is treated as a single letter. It has its own place in alphabetical order, right between N and O. It represents a single sound, the velar nasal, the sound at the end of sing or king in English. But in Filipino, this sound can appear at the beginning of a word. Words like ngayon, meaning now, or ngiti, meaning smile, start with NG. Try saying ngayon with a hard NG sound at the start. That's a sound English speakers genuinely struggle with, because English never starts words with that sound. But in Filipino, it's completely normal. And the fact that NG is its own alphabetical unit, not just a combination of N and G, reflects how seriously Filipino linguistics treats it as a distinct phoneme.
These two letters, Ñ and NG, are what make the Filipino alphabet stand out from a sea of 26-letter Latin alphabets. Here's the part that really hurts.
Filipino, and specifically Tagalog, actually has sounds that the current alphabet cannot fully represent. One example, the glottal stop. In linguistics, this is the brief stopping of airflow in the throat, the sound between the two syllables if you say uh-oh in English. In Tagalog, the glottal stop can completely change the meaning of a word. Bata, with a glottal stop at the end, equals child. Bata, without it, equals bathrobe. Same letters, completely different meaning. But in modern written Filipino, that glottal stop is invisible. There's no letter, no apostrophe, no marker for it in official spelling. Linguists and scholars have proposed solutions. Some suggest using a special symbol or a consistent apostrophe, but nothing has been officially standardized. So we have a core feature of spoken Filipino that written Filipino literally cannot capture. That's a huge deal. It means the written language is, by design, slightly incomplete compared to the spoken one. And now, the most exciting development. Baybayin, the ancient script that was essentially erased by colonization, is making a comeback. In 2018, the Philippine House of Representatives passed the National Writing System Act, which recognized Baybayin as the Philippines' national writing system. The Senate version of the bill has been debated since then. While it hasn't become fully implemented national law in terms of mandatory use, the recognition alone has sparked a massive cultural revival. You see Baybayin now on murals, tattoos, merchandise, book covers, and government logos. Young Filipinos are learning it online. Artists are incorporating it into their work. There's a growing movement that says our alphabet has roots older and deeper than colonization, and those roots deserve to be honored. The secret letters of the Filipino alphabet, in a way, are the ones we've forgotten, the characters from Baybayin that carried Filipino voices for centuries before anyone forced us to write differently. So, the next time you look at the Filipino alphabet, don't just see 28 letters. See centuries of history. See colonial decisions baked into spelling. See a language that adapted, absorbed, and survived. See the sounds that slipped through the cracks of official writing, and see a people slowly reclaiming what was theirs. The alphabet isn't just letters, it's identity. If you found this interesting, share it, especially with someone who thinks the Filipino alphabet is just A, B, K, D, because now you know it's a whole lot more than that. Subscribe for more interesting facts about the Philippines.